told people this over and over again. Martell is the type of person, if he had anything, he would have been released it a long time ago. He's been showing people stuff on his phone forever. Like the whole revenge porn thing, that did happen. That is a true thing that really happened. And not only have he shown people stuff in his phone of his ex-wife, he's also showed people stuff in his phone with his baby mother. Like, she needs to check on that too. He's shown the boys pictures of her dancing in the closet, shaking after he paid for some type of procedure she had. So he's known for that.
Nobody watching from the outside ever really knows the moment a person decides they've had enough. Sometimes it's not loud. Sometimes it's not dramatic. It's just a quiet shift inside the heart. The kind that comes after years of pressure, whispers, and pretending everything is fine when it's not. And for LaTisha Scott, that moment didn't arrive in front of cameras or during a reunion episode. It came after months of feeling like her life was being shaken from the shadows. Because when she finally spoke about the alleged threats tied to Martell Holt, she didn't just drop reality TV gossip. She revealed something far heavier, something that made fans stop scrolling and start asking questions. What she shared wasn't just about arguments or petty drama. It was about fear, about the kind of emotional pressure that creeps into your home and sits at your dinner table. And once she started talking, it became clear this wasn't a single moment of tension. It was a slow build, a series of small cracks that eventually turned into something that could shake a marriage, friendships, and even a reputation. And here's what made it hit even harder. This story didn't start with threats or conflict. It started with trust.
He said, not alleged, Carlos, not alleged. Martell is...
No, but like Martell, like explain
guys,
to them.
I'm not...
No, listen, like...
If I was, I would make it... I wouldn't be hiding
No,
this
like
shit.
explain to them how like Tisha lied. Why did you get so upset?
About what?
The stuff that they didn't air. What Martha was saying.
Oh.
Not about the stuff.
Oh.
What did Tisha say?
About Melody?
What did she say?
I guess if you guys watch the show, Tisha also mentioned that certain things were edited out. Yeah, a lot of things was edited out.
The most of it.
I don't even want to mention.
But it was mostly edited about me, Martell. What he was saying about me, that was edited out.
Yeah, that's why I was mad, because Marcel was saying a lot of different things about Ariana or whatever. Something that's not true. So the thing is, when stuff is true, you bring
receipts.
You bring the evidence for it, which I did, and I can do it about every week.
Long before viewers saw her navigating business ventures, motherhood, and public scrutiny on Love and Marriage Huntsville, LaTisha's life looked like something many people could relate to. She was building a future with her husband, Martell Scott, trying to balance ambition with family and working towards stability in a world that rarely gives it easily. Their marriage wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. They had history, shared goals, kids depending on them, and like many couples, they believed if they stayed united, they could survive anything. When the show entered their lives, it opened doors, business opportunities, visibility, influence, but it also invited something else, public judgment. Every conversation, every disagreement, every facial expression became content. Suddenly, strangers felt entitled to analyze their relationship. And with that spotlight came pressure most couples never experience. Still, LaTisha tried to stay grounded. She leaned into her role as a mother, a wife, and a woman trying to hold her family together while navigating friendships that were starting to shift in ways nobody expected. Because once friendships start cracking on reality TV, they rarely break quietly.
Oh, yeah, I figured something had his attention.
And he what? Yeah, Terry got his attention. Well, you have a good day, Mr. Holt. Because,
all right. Hey, you too. Hey, you making that money over there selling them clothes?
Huh?
You making that money over there selling them clothes?
Of course, that's all I'm focused on.
Oh.
Y'all be talking about you all right. I'm always all right.
Hey, what's up, son? Yes.
He see your Spider-Man.
I don't see a Spider-Man.
No, but just Martell.
Oh, okay, son. I see your Spider-Man. Yay. Oh, love Maverick. People talking about his name is Maverick, not Holt. And they call him Holt over there.
That's my son.
Yeah. Talk about your business again, Ariane. What you got? Let's sell it.
In the early days, the dynamic between the Scotts and the Holts felt complicated but manageable. There were laughs, shared goals, business talk, and the sense that they were all trying to succeed together. But as time went on, especially with the fallout surrounding Martell's own marriage and public struggles, something changed. The energy became heavier, conversations felt sharper, and behind the scenes, according to LaTisha, things started happening that viewers never saw. It didn't begin with threats, it began with comments, small ones, the kind that could be brushed off at first, statements that felt loaded but not obvious, words that lingered longer than they should. At first, LaTisha tried to ignore it. She believed tension would fade if she didn't feed it. She assumed if she stayed respectful, stayed calm, and stayed focused on her family, everything would settle eventually. But it didn't. Because over time, those comments reportedly became more pointed, more personal, less like casual shade and more like warnings wrapped in conversation.
Like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like, now I don't believe anything.
And what made it worse was that Martell had once been someone inside their circle, someone who knew details about their lives that weren't meant for public debate. That's when the situation stopped feeling like TV drama and started feeling personal. LaTisha later described feeling like she was walking through her own life with a cloud hanging overhead. Every group gathering felt tense. Every message felt like it might carry hidden meaning. Even normal filming days became stressful because she didn't know what might be said, hinted, or implied next. And the hardest part wasn't just what was happening publicly, it was what it did inside her home. Stress doesn't stay outside the door, it follows you in. It shows up in your conversations, your mood, your sleep, your patience. And for LaTisha, the anxiety started affecting how she and Marcel communicated. They weren't just dealing with rumors from viewers anymore. They were dealing with fear of what someone from their past friendship might reveal or twist. Arguments became heavier, silence lasted longer, and even when they tried to move forward, there was always that lingering question in the air. What happens if this gets worse? Because when someone feels like they hold information about you, whether real or exaggerated, it creates a power imbalance that's hard to ignore. LaTisha admitted that for a long time, she kept these worries mostly to herself, not because she didn't trust her husband, but because she didn't want to create more tension than they already had. She didn't want to give fear a permanent place in their marriage. But holding it in only made it grow. There were nights she couldn't sleep, moments she felt her stomach tighten every time her phone buzzed. Times she wondered if the next episode or online post would bring another wave of speculation.
No, you said that I've been quiet. I know a lot more than what I say. And for years, Marcel have been like, no, T, don't do that. No, T, don't do that. And we really have been trying not to go there with Marcel because I just don't want to be fighting with him. So, but at some point, you have to be like, enough is enough. Like, leave us alone. Stop it. We don't say nothing about you. When we do say something, it is like something that has been asked of us on the TV show. We're filming a television show. If someone asks us a question or something that you've already put out there, we can speak on it. But we don't put things out there before you put it out there.
And here's the twist nobody expected. When she finally opened up, she didn't do it out of revenge. She did it out of exhaustion. She reached a point where staying quiet felt heavier than speaking, where protecting everyone else meant losing her own peace, where pretending everything was normal felt like the real danger. And once she started telling her side, fans began looking at the entire situation differently. Because suddenly, scenes that once felt like simple reality TV drama looked more complicated. Moments of tension felt deeper. Silence between cast members felt intentional rather than awkward. LaTisha explained that the alleged threats didn't just affect her emotionally, they changed how she moved socially, how she spoke during filming, how she handled conflict. She felt like she had to stay cautious all the time, not because she had something to hide, but because she didn't know what someone else might try to use against her.
Nobody's saying anything, and I am the referee for real. It's like, Maurice, let him let it out. Chris and Nell are zombies. Poor Lance, he just new and traumatized. I just don't want anybody to swing on each other. Like, that's the last thing I want.
Living in that mindset changes you. It makes you second-guess your words. It makes you overthink your reactions. It makes you feel like you're constantly defending a life you worked hard to build. And it wasn't just about her reputation, it was about her children, about how public drama could shape their future, about how rumors online don't just stay online, they follow families into schools, friendships, and everyday life. Marceau, too, felt the weight. Watching your partner carry stress you can't easily fix is its own kind of heartbreak. He tried to stay steady, tried to keep their home grounded, but even strong relationships struggle when outside pressure keeps pushing in. LaTisha later admitted there were moments she felt emotionally drained, like she was living two lives, one for the cameras and one filled with worry behind the scenes. And that kind of pressure doesn't just test a marriage, it tests your sense of self. She began questioning how much of her life belonged to her anymore, whether being on TV meant surrendering her privacy, whether loyalty in friendships meant anything once cameras and public narratives got involved. But here's where the story shifts. Instead of letting fear define her, LaTisha decided to reclaim control of her narrative. Speaking out wasn't about creating drama, it was about removing the power of silence. Because when someone believes they can intimidate you by holding information over your head, the most powerful move can be taking away the secrecy altogether. By addressing the situation openly, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: relief. Not because the problems disappeared overnight, but because she no longer felt like she was carrying them alone. Fans responded in mixed ways, of course. Some supported her immediately, others questioned details, and many simply watched closely, waiting to see how everything would unfold. But one thing was clear: her words changed the conversation. They reminded viewers that behind every reality TV storyline are real families, real fears, and real emotional consequences. Because what looks like entertainment on screen can feel like survival off-screen. And for LaTisha, this moment wasn't just about addressing Martell or any single conflict. It was about protecting her peace, her marriage, and her children from a storm she never asked for. She made it clear that her goal moving forward isn't revenge or public battles, it's stability, growth, and ensuring her family feels secure no matter what narratives swirl around them. And that's what makes her story resonate far beyond one show or one feud. It's about what happens when private struggles collide with public exposure, about how friendships can shift under pressure, about how silence can feel safe until it becomes suffocating. Most of all, it's about the courage it takes to speak when you know the world is listening. Because once you reclaim your voice, you also reclaim your power. And now, the real question isn't whether the drama will continue. Reality TV almost guarantees that it will. The real question is whether this moment marks a turning point, not just for LaTisha, but for how viewers understand what's really happening behind the scenes. Because sometimes the biggest revelations aren't the loudest ones. Sometimes they're the quiet truths that finally refuse to stay hidden. And if this chapter taught us anything, it's that what looks like reality TV chaos on the surface might actually be someone fighting to protect their life underneath it all. So now, everyone's watching, waiting, wondering what comes next. Because when one person finally tells their truth, it often opens the door for many more to follow.